Hello and welcome to my first edition of the donut tutorial. So this is actually based on a BlenderGuru tutorial for beginners. So that one comes in about 7 or 8 parts. I'm just going to condense it a bit. The guy tends to ramble and I just want to get out the donut stuff essentially. I might add in the coffee mug and plate and landscape that he puts in later on. But for the moment, I'm just going to focus on the donut and try not to ramble as much as he did. So, let's see how we go. Okay, what you're going to do, just click off that. That looks nothing like a donut. Let's delete that. Go Shift A to add an object. Go Mesh, Torus, and that's going to be what you want to start with. If we lift this up a bit more, we can see over here, it doesn't look donutty enough. It just looks like a ring more than a donut. So we want to change the minor radius, which is the radius inside the donut, not in the hole. That's the major radius. The radius inside here is the minor radius. So if we increase that, get something that how you imagine donuts when you dream, try to get something like that. Dealer's choice, really. Okay, so next thing we're going to do, we're going to be duplicating the top half of the donut and turning that into the icing. So we want to get side on so we can see it really neatly. There we go. As side on as you can, it doesn't have to be spot on, but it would help. So tab to go into edit mode and then go A to deselect everything. We want to go Alt tab and make sure that we're selecting faces. And then you tap B to start a box select and then select the top half of the donut. But as you're going to see, that didn't actually work. That only selected the stuff we can see. So if we go back here, click this button here, limit selection to visible. We want to toggle that so we can actually see through it, and that means we can select through it. I'm going to go A to deselect everything again. Box select, top half. Boom. Lovely. Okay, so next thing, we want to duplicate this. So we're going to go Shift D, which is duplicate, and I'm going to raise it up, but I'm going to hold the middle button while I'm waving it around so that it sticks in the X axis. X axis? It's one of them. Z axis, that's it. Okay, then when you've raised it above it, make sure that there is no part, make sure it's a decent bit above it so it's easy to work. And then left click, and you should have this at the moment. Currently, if we look over here at our objects, we've still only got the one piece. So we'll actually want to separate these so that it's easier to work with. So if we go P, you will separate by selection. Now if we look over here, we have two objects. So just tab back out into object mode, and then we can play with our icing. So if you look at this, the icing currently is it's not thick at all. It doesn't have any weight to it. It's literally the width of nothing. So what we need to do is we're going to use a modifier. Just go over here to the spanner. That'll be where all your modifiers are kept. Go add modifier and solidify, because we want to make this solid. So if we have a look here, if you grab the thickness, here, well, nope, okay, never mind. I messed up. I done goofed it. Okay, delete that. Make sure, press A to deselect everything. Right click on your icing. Make sure you have the icing selected and not the actual donut. Add modifier to that. Solidify. That looks better. So if we have a look at the inside of it now, I'm just going to shift to Shift and middle click to pan so we can actually see it better. And then play with the thickness. It's adding thickness to the inside instead of the outside. We really want our thickness growing on the outside. If you change offset from -1 to 1, that'll put it on the outside. Get the thickness to about, I don't know, dealer's choice here, but whatever you think the icing would be a good thickness at. Personally, I think that's pretty good. I think so. So I'm just going to leave it there. Also, personally, I'm just going to go into edit mode right here, and I'm going to delete this section of faces here just because I should be doing, yeah, no, that's fine, I can do that. I'm going to delete this section of faces here just because I don't think icing would end up there in the real world. So, and we're going for, you know, accurate here, so going to select a few of them. Nope, not like that. I think if I go shift, if I go alt, right click, yeah, that will do a ring select, and I can go delete, and I'm going to delete faces. There we go. I think that will end up looking better in the long run, personally. Okay. Now, I am happy with the thickness of my donut. So let's drop that on. I'm going to tab back out of edit mode, and I'm going to grab this blue arrow and just lower it down back onto my donuts. And try to line it up as much as you possibly can. But make sure you do not overlap them. Okay, I'm fairly happy with that. Lovely. So if we, and I recommend you use Cycles Render instead of Blender Render. If you go up here, you can change that. If we hit F12 and render our scene, we should see the start of a donut to form. Actually, hold on, let's get out of that. Change it to smooth shading on both the donut and the icing, and then that looks a bit nicer. Next up, let's add some materials. Okay, I might put that in the next tube. Bye.